Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Understanding Law of Karma, Lakhani Hindu Academy. So I'm thinking about doing 3 videos on each person. I will get to Tadat Mananda's video. I think he has quite a series on it, and I will do the whole series whenever I get to him. I think it's going to be after Lakhani though. I got kind of a list of names I want to go through and cycle through them. So let's go ahead with this one.
Babies are innocent. Baby born.
Let me rewind that one.
Babies are innocent. Baby born, okay, it's nothing. It's his previous life, maybe some percentage, but maybe 80 or 90% of the parents, maybe they got testing, or I don't know what is exactly. Thank you.
These are very good questions. I'm pleased that we asked Sujit Bhai to ask the question. They are very, very good questions, and I think a lot of people in the lot of viewers are struggling with these ideas. If you see an innocent child suffering with some serious illness, let's say, just born and suffering, because we are Hindus, we immediately say, oh, the law of karma is taking effect, the poor chap, he must have done bad things in his life, so that the poor chap is suffering. This would be the immediate response of an average Hindu. This is terrible, terrible. How dare you blame this baby for the sufferings undergoing? Don't you realize?
That is kind of harsh. And it's kind of I mean, I don't know if every Hindu believes in that or anything, but the idea of that is kind of harsh, but I understand it as well. If you believe in rebirth and karma under the assumption that so long as you're continuously reborn into this world, you are carrying your karma with you. So if you've done bad things in the past, then you deserve the things that happens to you in this life. But it's also for some odd reason, whenever I talk about that, it reminds me of Western religion as well, with like children who die young. What's their excuse for that? You know, why does God do those things? It's like, are they saved? You know, because in order to be saved, you must know about God. You must give yourself up to God. But I think church came up with the fact that because they can't, how do I say, because they don't know about God, they automatically get a free pass. So basically, if you know nothing about Christianity, then if you die, you automatically go to heaven. You get a free pass because no one was there to teach you about it. And it's kind of a defeating manner, because if you don't tell anyone about Christianity, everyone automatically goes to heaven. The second you start talking to people about Christianity is the second they have a high chance of being damned forever.
What happens to the young child is not the result of just his action, but a lot of other things that combine together and produce that illness or the sickness. A lot of other things have all. Don't you notice? Look, in your own lives, the amount of effort you put in and the result you get is strongly influenced by a lot of other things, whether your parents were able to pay the fees and send you to the top school, or whether your mom helped you with the homework. All these things had to kind of influence and in a way interact with you before you produce a result. Your own contribution was perhaps trivial, literally 1%. 99% is the environment and other features that in a way infringed on you and your situation. In the same way, when somebody is suffering, somebody's got illness, somebody's got disabled, if you blame that person and say, you deserve it, this is terrible, don't you do that, don't you ever, Hindus, don't you ever dare do it. You don't.
Sorry to interrupt real quick. About the 1%, 99%. This is my belief. I don't want it to be that high, that low. Your ability to change your life is much higher than 1%. It is something that Sadhguru talks about, and not really in that exact same manner. It's just the sheer fact that you have absolute control over this body. You can do whatever you want with this body. External things, not really in your control. You can try your hardest, do your best, and there's going to be outside factors that will contribute or destroy your contributions. Whether you want to become CEO, maybe the owner doesn't like you, then you'll probably never make it up there, no matter how hard you try. But at the same time, if you do that exact same thing, and the CEO doesn't really care and sees that you're very good, then you rise up to CEO. So there's a lot of things you can do to change your life. There's a lot of things outside of your control, but I don't think it's a 1% to 99% like you said here. I just want to clear that up. I don't know what the actual percentage is. You have 100%, 95%, or a larger. I don't know what percent of the control of the body, because you can't exactly tell your skin to grow back. You can't exactly tell your hair to keep growing. Those are kind of out of your control. You can't necessarily control if you have cancer in your body and to stop the cancer. But in terms of a lot of other things, you do have control over your emotions, your actions. What percentage is that? I don't know.
Deserve it. This is terrible. Don't you do that. Don't you ever, Hindus, don't you ever dare do it. You don't understood law of karma. Infinite things almost happen, combine together, produce one result. And the contribution of that individual may be very trivial, very little. So don't blame the poor chap. Never vilify anybody in that manner. Never look down on anybody. This is the mature idea of law of karma. So I'm saying a lot of things are adding together where your contribution is also important, but it's also minor. Recognize it. So don't blame yourself. Don't be indifferent to your own suffering or indifferent to suffering of others, saying in the name of law of karma, nobody deserves it. That's the first part. So be very careful about how you express the idea of law of karma and do not vilify or undermine anybody. Second part is very important. I like this.
Before we get to the second part, it says you don't deserve it. Isn't that what karma is about, in a sense? Is the fact of the cumulative things of the past? But the way he is explaining it's the fact that it's not the things that you've done in the past is merely 1% of the karma that's going on out there. So I've not really heard any other gurus or swamis talk about what percentage of karma that affects you is something that you've done versus external karma from other people, karma from objects in the world, all the external factors. I've never heard of any other guru that said anything about that. Most of the karma they talk about is your own karma, nothing else so far.
You see, I can see the heart here kind of getting grieved that here is Ramakrishna, here is Raman Maharshi. Both of them suffer from cancer. You might ask yourself, did they do bad karma in the past life? They are getting caught out? Oh no, my friend, this is the answer. In reality, neither of these individuals, despite the thing, I've got pain here, despite that, neither of these individuals felt the pain. You say, they didn't feel the pain, they had cancer. One in the throat and one on the shoulder. Oh dear, no, don't you realize? These people, when they touch base with the spirit, the idea that I am the Atman, I am the spirit, they are established in that state throughout. Once you touch base with it, you can't let go because you discovered it, it can't be undone, you're done. Once you do that, physical suffering appears so trivial. It's like a little mosquito bite or something, it hardly hits them. So please do not go under the... Have you seen, when you see some of the films, in the Hindi films, used to come with bhaktas, all these Prahlad and suffering and crying. You say, oh dear, poor me, I don't want to be a bhakta. In fact, that's what my reaction. I said, these are terrible. These guys undergo such severe testing. I'd rather not go through that process. Have you noticed all the bhaktas? They cry and they get leprosy and they get everything until they sing to Mother Goddess and things sort out. I don't want to go through that whole process. I say, I don't want to be a bhakta. I'd rather be an atheist.
Bhakta. Bhakti yoga, devotion. Okay, so basically, the yoga of devoting yourself to a deity. Okay, a believer.
I used to be frightened of all these films. They show the poor heroes undergoing such suffering. You say, oh, look, reality. When you look at all these great bhaktas or the great saints or the great prophets of Hindu religion, let me tell you, let me guarantee you, they did not suffer. How can they suffer? They have tasted the bliss. They are above it. So all this is just make-believe, a little bit external. They make a show. And one day Ramakrishna was telling one of his devotees, you see, I fell down in this hand, because this guy used to go into meditation while he was walking sometimes and would topple over. He broke his arm. So they put a bandage, a plaster or something. And he used to go around and tell one devotee, look, it's painful. The devotee said, painful? It's not painful, is it? He said, you rascal, you caught me out. He was playing along. They do not feel. So don't ever think, oh, these poor people, they must do that. Why do they suffer? They don't suffer. We suffer. Because we are stuck with the body. And the bodily problems bother us. These people are beyond the body. They don't suffer. Don't you for a moment think that, what suffering? Once you tasted Atman, you suffer. What's the point of getting the Atman then? They don't suffer. We are caught in the trap. Until we are linked to the body, we pay a price. But once you've broken that link, that price is gone. You don't have to pay a tax for the body, as Ramakrishna says. You are beyond. You get offshore account. You don't pay tax.
Okay, I was gonna interpret it the way I've understood it from Swami Sarvapriyananda. He explains the two arrows. I believe it's him that explains that. So the two arrows is the first arrow is the physical arrow. The second arrow is your your attachment to the body, I guess you could say. Where you've not come to realize. The second arrow is when you realize you've obtained moksha, or I can't remember all the other words for enlightenment, but basically you've become one. You've realized, you've awakened, you've become one with Atman. You're an enlightened person. That's the second arrow. So, but he also explains the fact that you still don't ignore the first arrow. So even though those two people had cancer, hopefully they did not ignore the fact that their bodies had cancer and still took care of the issues. So that's something that I would definitely want to push, is the fact that, don't care about your body, still take care of it. You're still part of the body, until the body dies. So take good care of your body, even if you're enlightened. I'm sure enlightened people take care of their body all the time. They're not gonna just ignore it. They may not suffer like the rest of us, but they still take care of the body so that the body doesn't suffer itself. That's actually an interesting thing. For the belief of causing no harm to animals, the vegetarian Hindus, that's interesting. You would consider your body the same thing as an animal, because, well, in science, technically we're part of the animal kingdom. We are the fauna of the earth. So taking care of this body is also similar sense as not causing harm to animals. If you are in control of this body and you're causing harm to this body, you are doing the wrong thing there. So actually that's pretty neat. If I don't know if it's seen that way though, that enlightened people, I'm assuming, are vegetarians, or vegetarians. I don't know vegans, but vegetarians, and they looked at their body as though it's an animal too, so not to cause it harm as well. I assume. Let me know if I'm wrong. Alright, so this is the second video on understanding law of karma. It's interesting how he gave a percentage base on how much karma affects you. You are only contributing to 1% of the karma that you have. I don't know if I don't think I agree with that. I think you do contribute a much bigger percentage, and it's interesting that he takes the external karma as well. Which, does that really affect you, like external karma? Kind of like I don't know if this thing has a karma or not, but if this thing were to smack me in the face for some odd reason, I'd be like, okay, that's strange. But yeah, and then other people's karma, do they affect your karma? Again, so far, I don't think other gurus or swamis has talked about that. Again, all of them has talked about your own karma and how your own karma affects you. He introduces other karmas that affect you, and that can make sense because a lot of people in the comments talk about what is this? Genetic karma, I guess you could say, your genes, DNA, RNA, and sometimes, again, some of your genes will mutate into cancer cells, and that's all karmic memory. That's what Sadhguru uses, karmic memory in your cells. So that's probably part of a karma that you have maybe no control over. Well, you don't really have a control over your cells. Grow. So you can't exactly control that. Interesting. I wonder what percentage of karma, now that I think about it, what percentage of karma do you actually contribute to your own karma, and the rest of your body contributes to that, and then external factors, if they contribute to that. I wonder if any other gurus will talk about that. Well, anyways, that's my reaction to understanding law of karma. Jai Lakhani. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.